In Formula One, legends aren't always measured by how long they dominate, but by how fiercely they fight. Mika Häkkinen, the Flying Finn, wasn't just a two-time world champion. He was the man who went toe-to-toe with Michael Schumacher in an era when Formula One was at its most ruthless. Quiet, composed, ice-cool off the track, but behind the visor, pure fire. Born in Vanta, Finland in 1968, Häkkinen's story began far from the glamour of Monaco or Monza. Like many Finns, he learned car control not on racetracks, but on frozen roads. He started karting at 5 years old, and by the late 1980s, he had fought his way up through the junior categories, winning in Formula Ford and British Formula 3. It was raw speed and relentless grit that carried him, not money, not privilege. Formula One came calling in 1991 with Lotus. The team was a shadow of its former self, but even in underpowered machinery, Häkkinen's flashes of speed were impossible to ignore. In 1993, he joined McLaren as a test driver. When he finally got his chance to race in Portugal that year, he stunned the paddock, out-qualifying his legendary teammate Ayrton Senna. A statement. The quiet Finn could be devastatingly quick, but Formula One can be cruel. In 1995 at Adelaide, Häkkinen's career and life nearly ended.
And there, Mika Häkkinen, that looks unpleasant. There's a big shot. Mika Häkkinen has gone sideways heavily into the tower wall. And this may well see a red flag because that car is in a precarious position. And the medics will be very quickly, there it is, in fact, the medical unit straight onto the scene to get attention to Mika Häkkinen as quickly as possible.
A tire failure at 200 miles per hour sent him headfirst into the wall. His skull was fractured. He wasn't breathing. Only an emergency trackside tracheotomy saved him. The scars and his raspy voice would remain for life, but so too did his determination. By 1996, against all odds, he was back in the cockpit, not just surviving, but fighting. Then came the breakthrough. By 1998, McLaren, under Adrian Newey's genius, gave Häkkinen the car he'd been waiting for, and with it, he unleashed his full potential. That year, he won his first world championship, beating Michael Schumacher and Ferrari in a duel that would define an era. He followed it with another title in 1999, fending off Eddie Irvine while Schumacher sat out with injury. The Flying Finn had become the undisputed benchmark, but it was the rivalry with Schumacher that cemented Häkkinen's place in Formula One folklore. They were opposites. Schumacher, the relentless tactician, Häkkinen, the natural racer. Their battles were fierce but respectful. At Spa in 2000, Häkkinen pulled off one of the greatest overtakes in Formula One history, blasting past Schumacher on the Kemmel Straight, while simultaneously lapping Ricardo Zonta. It was a moment that would define Häkkinen's career and knack for brilliance. Hurtling down the Kemmel Straight at over 200 miles per hour, he lined up Schumacher for a move. Ahead, backmarker Ricardo Zonta loomed. In a heartbeat, Schumacher went left. Häkkinen darted right. 3 cars abreast, inches apart, Mika blasted past them both. It was both bold and breathtaking, a moment of pure edge-of-your-seat brilliance. Even Schumacher admitted that Mika was the one rival he truly respected.
I knew that way following Michael, it's no point to try to follow him and then try to overtake him and at the straight because obviously he's not going to give me a room. Is correct?
Yeah.
So I took plan B and overtook the backmarker and at the same time overtook to Michael. And it was great overtaking maneuver and I loved it. I'm not sure if the Michael did.
Not every moment was glory. At Monza in the same year, after a rare mistake cost him the lead, Häkkinen pulled into the trees and wept. It was a glimpse behind the stoic exterior, the immense pressure of carrying McLaren on his shoulders, of going wheel to wheel with the greatest of all time. By 2001, drained and longing for more time with his family, Häkkinen stepped away. Officially a sabbatical, but in truth, a goodbye. He left with 20 race wins, 51 podiums, and 2 world championships. He tried his hand at DTM with Mercedes, even winning races there, but the chapter of Formula One was closed. Today, Häkkinen is remembered not just as a champion, but as Schumacher's greatest rival, a driver who combined raw speed with grace under pressure, a man who survived the sport at its most dangerous and came back to conquer it. He remains a mentor, an ambassador, and for many fans, the last of the true racing romantics. Mika Häkkinen was more than just the flying Finn. He was the man who forced Michael Schumacher to raise his game, the man who came back from the brink of death to sit on motorsport's greatest throne. And above all, he was proof that in Formula One, courage is as important as talent.
Brilliant.
Join us next time as we dive into the thrilling and often tragic tales of motorsport legends, exploring the stories that defined an era and the drivers who dared to dream.